boys and girls. I am so excited that you're here to make some art. Today we're going to make flowers, really simple flowers made out of paper that you can find at home. So if you have pattern paper that's really pretty, or if you have wrapping paper left over, or if you have bags that when you go shopping have also patterns, you can use those, or just regular paper. Or you can even use, a bag from your grocery store. Say this one is from Bonds, but in my tutorial video right now, I'm going to use some from Trader Joe's. So for instance, I want you to use whatever you have home. So the flowers that we're going to make are going to be looking something like this. This is a really cool one here. Or here's another one that's a little bit bigger. So depending on how you cut your circles, there'll be a bigger flower or a little bit smaller flower. And then also depending on what colors you use, it will look a little bit different. So I'm going to get my paper ready. So for instance, if I use this bag, which is really cool, I love just the color of the brown bag like this. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to just basically cut it in half, and I'm sure you here. I'm going to take my scissors, cut it open like this, go all the way through to the other side. So now I have basically two sections of bags. And I'm going to take off the handles because we do not need the handles. So we're just going to snip them off like that. And then the bottom part, I can also just make it open so that it's easier to work with, so that it's totally flat. So this is what I get, something like that. So with one of my bags, I'm going to get basically two large sheets of brown paper to work from, which is really cool. But again, use whatever you have at home. So this is making art from recycled materials. So let's get started. So now that I have a few circles, you can have 5 or 6. Mine became one that had 5 circles. I'm going to color the edges of, actually this is the first one that you have here. You can color the whole thing. But the other ones, we will only see the edges of our flowers when we stack them up. So I'm going to do them one by one. This one is my smallest one, the one that we will see the best. And I'm going to use oil pastels. And so do you see here I have my black line. I'm going to turn it, but I have a design on the other side. So you can decide if you want to keep your black line, or you can even cut it off. I'm going to keep my black line, and I'm going to start with white, because white will make all the other colors that I put on top a little bit brighter. So maybe I want to have a brighter orange, then I can add some white. Maybe it's going to be a rainbow flower, so I can add a little bit more white here, and maybe a little bit of yellow here. So you'll see that some colors will pop more than others, and that's just because we are working on a brown piece of paper instead of white. So that will change, your colors will change a little bit, but it's kind of fun. So I'm just gonna go around, add white, and maybe a little bit of red. So this is where you become a real designer, a real artist, and you decide which colors go well next to each other, and just have fun with the color combinations. And so here's my center. So now for the other ones, again, since this one is going to cover up part of my flower, I don't have to color the whole thing. I'm just going to color the outside. And I'm going to think about what will contrast with this color. And you can make your designs different on the edge. So I'm going to go around just like that, all around the edge. And maybe this one will be a different shade of pink. And you can mix and match your colors, make patterns. So really have fun with this part of the process. So I'm going to continue and make the borders of each one of my circles while you're working on your circles as well. And I will see you in just a little bit. Once you have colored all your circles, you can decide if you want to give some details for the edges. So a couple of options is to make a fringe. So if you make a fringe, you're going to just go around all the way, making small, kind of like just small little marks around, all the way around your circle. But again, you're not going all the way through to the center. So it's just, again, just a fringe on the outside, so that when we put it together, you can just curl it up like that. Another thing you could do if you wanted, instead of a fringe, is to do kind of a wiggly line. So we'll go kind of like that. So all the way around here. Just going to give you a few options. So here's a wiggly line. Or you could do one that's kind of like, so you go and you take out some little triangles like this all the way around. So that is going to take me a while, so I'm just going to continue. So you're going to make your borders. You can mix and match the way I'm doing, or you could just choose one border, or you can just leave them the way they are. It's really up to you. So I'm going to continue this, and I will see you in just a little bit. So once all my edges have been cut in, in just like for decoration, to make it a little bit more interesting, I am going to be gluing each circle to the other. So I'm going to start with the very bottom one, and I am going to add white glue. Now this is what I happen to have home, but you can have, just any white glue that you have at home. Just put a nice big drop of white glue, and then one by one you're going to add your circles. And then my next one like this, until I add them all together. And I have one more. Actually, two more. Here's this one. And here's the last one. And I'm going to, while this is done, I'm going to set my flower aside so it dries really well. And while this is drying, I'm going to work on the stem. So for the stem, I'm going to take another one of my paper bags. And I'm going to put it kind of, instead of this way, kind of sideways. And I am to roll it up to make a stem that is thick and sturdy. So kind of if you were rolling up a little taquito. And then here you need some tape. So I have some, just colored masking tape. So I'm going to use that. I do recommend masking tape, but whatever you have. Maybe you have some really cool washi tape that has patterns. Maybe you have just Scotch tape. So I'm just going to put a few here to hold it in place. I think for this part it is better than glue. So just a few more. And I'm gonna leave this. So here's my really pretty stem. Then I'm gonna take the other side of the bag, which is, so I have one more side to work on a nice leaf to add as a detail. So I'm going to make two. So I'm going to trace one. Actually, I'm going to show you a really cool trick. And if you fold your paper in half, so I have double paper, I am going to trace one large leaf with my Sharpie, and holding the paper like this, I'm gonna cut it. Down, cut the leaf, and now I have two leaves, and I am going to, so when I'm going to glue them together like this in a little bit, but right now I just want to color them green. So I'm going to take again a little bit of white to make different shades of green. And this really works with the oil pastel because you can really blend your colors. So I'm gonna have white as a base, and then I'm gonna add some light green, then some dark green, and you can be creative with your colors. So I'm gonna do this one and then the other one. So just like that. You can add your details. And then you can color the other side. So then we will put them together like this. So here's my stem, and I'm gonna take, this is a flower, I'm gonna turn it on the back, and I'm gonna add the stem and take my masking tape like this. And really attach it well. You can even put another one here so it doesn't fall. And I know that you guys love tape, so this is the fun part. And then if you turn it around, look at how pretty this flower looks. Now we just need to add our leaf right here. So remember I have two pieces of leaf like that. I'm gonna put the bottom one at the bottom right here. And I'm gonna take my glue one more time. So it's kind of sideways, like this. So I'm gonna take a lot of glue, and like this, here. And then I'm gonna put this one on top, like that. So this time it's kind of like a little sandwich right here. A leaf sandwich. So we're putting them together like that. So when it dries, you will be able to pick it up, and then your leaf will be really nicely attached. And then maybe I'm gonna add a little bit of a darker green on top, so it's kind of like the veins that are on a leaf, like that. And you can even add more details. So maybe edge here could be a little bit darker. Wow, that looks really, really good. I like it. I hope you're doing a really cool flower, and I know that you are. All right, I am now ready to start my flower. So it's best if you find a circle shape. This one, for instance, is a lid. And you're going to place it on the paper. And it's best that you don't place it in the center, but perhaps in the corner, because we're going to trace different circles. So we want to be able to use as much as possible of the paper. So I'm going to start about here, hold my shape, and just trace around. Again, it does not have to be perfect because we will be cutting them out. And I'm going to put this aside, and I'm going to cut my circle. And it's kind of a rough cut, which means that it does not have to be perfect. Just going around. And then I'm going to use this circle to continue and create another circle, which will be a bit bigger. So around here. And then I'm going to lift it up and cut this one up. And then I'm going to use the new one that I just cut and try to find a space where I can have enough space to make another one that's a little bit bigger again. So I'm going to go around here. And again, I'm going to cut yet another circle. So I'm going to continue cutting each circle a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger until I get 5 to 6 overlapping circles. So this one I'm going to see if it fits, and yes, I still have room enough for perhaps one more circle right here. So I'm going to go around like this. And I've made some really big flowers, so the bigger the paper, the bigger the flower. But you can also do the same exact thing and make smaller flowers. So they do not have to be, giant. And I might have to get another bag if this one doesn't fit. We'll see. So I'm going to continue until I get 6 circles.